Understanding modes and how they relate to the fretboard is a really helpful step toward developing our understanding of harmony. Harmony in music theory is simply the study of chords and how they are made. Early on in my journey as a guitarist, I learned a handful of chord shapes, mostly open chords and bar chords. Like a lot of guitarists, I used those shapes to get through songs I was learning at the time. But once I got into jazz band in high school, I was confronted with an entirely new musical language, chords like these. Very quickly, I realized I wasn't going to tackle this on my own, so I took lessons. One of the first things my teacher showed me was how to find the modes within the major scale. Learning the modes gave me the tools to understand why some chords in the major key are major, while others are minor or diminished. Now, modes can seem advanced, but as guitarists, we've got a unique advantage. Our instrument is visual. We can literally see the scales of the chords on the fretboard. So today, I'm going to show you how to find the 7 modes in a single major scale pattern. We'll also learn how to find each mode's chord tones and arpeggios. And if you stick around to the end, I'll share a pro trick that adds colorful, complex harmony to your playing. Modes are basically 7-note scales that come from a parent scale, in this case, A major. If we start on a different note of that scale, say B, and play it to its octave, we get B Dorian, the 2nd mode of A major. In a major key, each mode is either major, minor, or diminished in quality. Even though each mode has its own sound, we really bring out their character by focusing on their chord tones. Starting from the root of any mode, we count up the scale degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, back to where we started. The 1st, 3rd, and 5th degrees are the chord tones, the notes that define whether the mode is major, minor, or diminished. The other scale degrees have their own roles. The 7th is another chord tone stacked beyond the 5th. A pattern also to recognize how chord tones are derived from a 7-note scale is to stack thirds. Using our scales, we can do the counting method. 1, 2, 3 to 3, 1, 2, 3 to 5, 1, 2, 3 to 7. So when we stack thirds, it's 3 steps from the previous note to get to that point. Extensions, if we continue that same idea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 9 or 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 11, 1, 2, 3, 6 or 13. These extensions or color tones add richness and flavor to the harmony. The benefit of learning how to rely on a single scale pattern like today's E form is that we start to really get control over that body of notes, which prevents us from just succumbing to pure muscle memory, which is what a lot of players do when they first learn scale patterns. So when we take another mode, say the 2, it has its root 3rd and 5th as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we take those, 1, 3, 5, we have the chord or arpeggio that's derived from that mode. The same is true for all the other modes. When we play these chord tones as separate notes, that's an arpeggio. When we play them together, that's a chord. So, or, that's really the only difference. Now let's run through the modes again, but this time as arpeggios. If we add the 7th degree to each one, we get a 7th arpeggio, which will sound even more colorful. We can actually come up with some really musical ideas just by staying in one position. using the double stops, arpeggios, and chord voicings that already exist inside this pattern. So if we take E Mixolydian, right, and we could take the flat 7, that's an arpeggio, right? We take our arpeggio, we see the root on top, and we say, well, here's the flat 7 on the neighboring string, the 6 and the 5. Maybe up on the scale, arpeggio. The F sharp Aeolian scale we could do. Finding chord tones, right? And you can see how I can experiment with putting maybe the octave and the 7 right there. Take the 6, 5, 4. As an exercise, come back to those arpeggios. So if you've stuck around to this point in the video, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show you a pro trick now that helps you really pull the color out of these modes while using all the information that we did today. So when I think of a D major 7 chord, I think of the 1 chord over the 4, right? And if I arpeggiate that chord or do an arpeggio, I'm really starting to get all those color tones out of the 4 chord without actually having to think, okay, there's the sharp 11 or the sharp 4, right? That's a lot to think about, and it never ends up actually getting the sound we want. So by thinking off a different part of the chord, or scale in this case, I'm able to apply the same process to another mode while holding that bass note to get a really cool sound. So I definitely encourage you to experiment with stuff like that. Another cool one, just like we did, so the 5 over 4 is 1. The 1 over 6 gives you an F sharp minor 7. The 4 over 2, D minor 7. And the 5 over 1, E over A. And so using that as kind of a launch pad to set up that groove. And now, how about the 4 now? Back to the 5. How about now the 1? Back to 5. Have that 1 on the bass. 4. So that's just an example of me just coming up with a progression, a little groove, and really trying to stick to an idea. That's always an important thing. A problem I see a lot of the time when players are learning how to do this stuff is they may be playing all the right stuff, but it's really random and it's not really trying to be applied to like a certain rhythmic framework. Like right now, I'm feeling this. You have a sense of a pulse, right? Here's that 2. Finding a groove. Guitar and piano are uniquely visual instruments, and that's part of why players of these instruments often develop strong harmonic awareness. So let's embrace that. Keep expanding your vocabulary of chord shapes, triads, scales, modes, and arpeggios, all of which work together to deepen your understanding of harmony.